Hey, all right. Test, test, test. All right, here we go. Hello, everyone. Kevin Stevenson here with GetMeTheGeek.com, and today we're going to do a live install of Kali Linux on my Windows machine under Hyper-V as a virtual machine. So this is going to be fun. Let's get started. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, so here is my desktop, and Kali Linux, if you're not familiar with it, is great operating system for doing some penetration testing, security research, and computer forensics and stuff like that. So if you want to get started in this area, Kali Linux is a great opportunity for you. So go, and if you have Hyper-V installed, you can do the same thing with VirtualBox or whatever your virtualization platform that you're using on your machine. I happen to have Hyper-V installed on my desktop PC here, so we're going to let it install there. Okay, so first off, let's go ahead and open up our Hyper-V manager. So I've got Hyper-V installed on here. If you don't have Hyper-V installed on your machine, it's pretty easy. I can make a tutorial on how to do that, plain and simple, but here's my machine. So first and foremost, you want to go here and you're going to see virtual switches. So there are some things that you have to set up to be in this when you're going, but easy peasy. The first thing you need to do is go over to Kali Linux, click on download, find what you want to do. If you're running VirtualBox or VMware on your machine already, there's some pre-made ones. They are right here, VMware and VirtualBox. You can download, boom, bing, bing. They're already set up with Kali as your credentials. However, we're going to do a fresh install on Hyper-V, bare bones, boom, 64-bit installer. I downloaded this, and that's what we're going to do. Okay, so let's go and create a new machine, new virtual machine. All right, so next, and we're going to call this Kali VM, right? And it's going to put it here, and that's totally fine. Gen 1, Gen 2. We're going to just pick Gen 2. Has UEFI, Gen 1. No, it doesn't really matter. We're going to do Gen 1. Let's give this thing 4096. We'll give it 4 gigs of RAM just to get going. We're going to connect it to our default switch, and then it's going to create this virtual disk that's 127 gigs, and that will be that. So installer options. Here's where you're going to connect that ISO that you downloaded from Kali here, right? So let's go here. Let's go to images. Let's go over here. We're going to go up to man, hold on. 1 second. Oh, it doesn't like that for some reason. Okay. For some reason. Oh, you know what? I know what we're gonna do here. I gotta connect another network. Yeah. I do not know what's going on there. But I've got this ISO here. It's on the S drive, so it should be accessible to this. For some reason, it is not coming up as a map drive. That's okay, because you know what we're gonna do? We're just take that. We're gonna copy it. Actually, you know what? Let me just go to that location in here. Let's do this. Boom. Whoops. 192.168.11.171. Ah. All right, here it is. Now, I don't know what it was doing, but it didn't want it to go there. So here is the ISO. You're going to click next. Okay. And boom. All right, so hit finish. Bing, bang, boom. Here we go. All right, this is creating a disk for my machine. Ooh, I got some sort of wackiness going on here. Details, great. Okay, so let's go ahead and back that up. Or actually, let's go ahead and do this. And let me just look and see if there's some. Let's just put it in temp because see if it can handle that. Okay, something has gone massively wrong with my installation here. Let me just back out of this. Hey, at least you get the opportunity to see what you do when you have issues, right? So we're going to go, and I've got this ISO. I'm going to just copy this guy back to my hard drive and that temp folder. And so that is just moving this over here, right? And so I'm going to go back to my create a new machine, create a virtual machine, and while that's copying, we'll get this all done. Kali VM, right? We're just going to store everything in this temp folder here, right? Gen 1, 4096 again. Virtual switch, yes. That's all spectacular. And this, we're going to go up here. It's done its thing. Select image. Go back to my C drive temp. And there's my Kali Linux here. And cross your fingers. Hopefully this will all work right now. I haven't fired up my Hyper-V in a little while, so it might have been just, I don't know, messed up. So here we go. Now, this is graded, right? So let's go back and look at that folder, that temp folder here. So you get this, you got your VM, virtual disk, there's the VHD for that. And it's going to get that there. So when I fire this baby up, it's going to basically start install. So first of all, we hit connect, and that's going to give you this little window here. And you can hit start. You can hit start down here, doesn't matter, or you can hit this little power button here. So it's going to fire up this virtual machine. Connecting. Boom, there's my Kali. Okay. So, and if you notice, if you use remote desktop before, you'll notice that this basically looks the same. And that's kind of how Hyper-V works. If you it basically, I think it does an RDP session into it. So now, what is going on here? Is our install working? I don't know. It appears to be kind of just hung there, right? Okay, zoom level, auto, action, yeah. So what's going on here? Task manager. Task manager doesn't look like it's going crazy or anything. It just sort of looks like it's hung. I'm going to go ahead and click enter there. And something is just not quite right. So let's just go ahead. I hit the Control Delete. We're going to see if that'll fix it. Maybe I downloaded a bad ISO or something. Things are not looking good here. So let's just hit stop on this. So turn it off. Media. That's that. Boom. Well, people, this appears to be going horribly sideways. Now, I will tell you that while we're waiting on this to do whatever it's doing, maybe I just need to reboot. Maybe things are whatever. We'll see. We'll give it a minute. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. However, if you didn't know, there is a Kali Linux or that you can. Oh, there we go. It finally got there. Oh, look at this. It's not having a happy day. Oh, there we go. We're back up and running. Who is happy? This guy. All right. So here we are. Let's go ahead. English, United States. There we go. It's going to look for the drive. I think my machine was just struggling a little bit there for some reason. But as you can tell, installing Kali Linux for bare bones and on a VM is pretty straightforward. Now, if you were going to put this on a desktop or a laptop or something, this operation is basically the same. This is the exact same way you would do it there. So we're going to give it a host name. We're going to call it Kali. Domain. So you can do whatever you want to put here. Right? Configure the network user. So you put up a first user, to call it, right? Screen name, password. Pick your time zone. Central, that's where I'm at. I'm in the central area. And you chill. And like I said, this is really very much the same as you would be installing a regular Ubuntu or something like that. It's very, very simple. Guided the entire disk as an LVM, encrypted LVM, whatever. You decide, I'm just going to use the entire disk. It'll set it up. All files in one partition. I'm totally fine with that. There are reasons why you'd want to do these separately, like the home and the var are separate partitions and stuff like that. But in this particular case, I'm just going to drop it through on the beginning. So it's going to be an ext4 / it's going to pop in a little 1 gigabyte swap partition, and then you want to go ahead and save those, write those changes to disk. It's going to write that to the VHD technically, and here in a second it'll be all installed and you'll be able to boot up into Kali. So all right, so if there's anybody out there who wants to talk or wants to shoot me a message, feel free to do that. I feel like this is a basic getting you started. I am getting more enthusiastic about doing cybersecurity stuff and things like that. So I was looking at Kali Linux and some of these other things. And so I thought I'd pop this on my machine and do it live just to see if there was someone out there that wanted to see what's going on and has never installed Kali Linux, or maybe you're just wanting to learn how easy it is to install Linux. This is it. Like I said, this is very similar to other Linux installs. So first, we need to hydrate. You know, I really love these and hate them at the same time, but whatever. Anybody else like the white monsters? I do. This guy. Okay, so here we are. What desktop do you want? Right? So XFC is the default. XFC is a pretty, it's a lightweight UI. GNOME and KDE are a little bit heavier than XFCE. But they are kind of, I don't want to say more featureful. Well, probably they are more featureful. But I recommend just going with the defaults here, especially your first time out. And it's going to give, put these collection of tools, a default, plus additional tools. Do we want those, guys? Everybody? People? All right, let's go ahead and click that. Ooh, what's the screenshot? Screenshot saved. So that's interesting. You can take a screenshot of that. All right, here we go. We're getting that stuff installed. And one of the things I did, just so you know, is I downloaded the full ISO so that the installation of this would be quick. There's a net install if you looked at that. Let me minimize this, and we'll come back to it in just a second. So you see this torrent. You've got this net installer. The net installer is going to be a quick download for your first time. However, it's going to have to download all the extra packages and things you want. So if you're planning on installing the whole book of everything, just spend the time, download the 4 gigs instead of the 308 megabytes that this guy is, and download it all to an ISO and just install from there. That's my personal opinion. And by the way, just check this out. It is capable of installing on the Apple M1. So if you got one of those guys, I do not. I'm thinking about getting one someday, but all right, here we are. It's still an install, right? While that's doing it, let's go kind of explore a little bit about Kali. So here we go. And look at this guy. Kali's kind of famous. It used to be called Backtrack, I believe, is what it was called before they changed the name to Kali Linux. And it's kind of famous out there as like the distro you want to learn how to do this pen testing and stuff. So here's an image of it. Tools, you got all these things. Wireshark is a central tool for just about anybody, and there's a Windows version of the Wireshark too. So just so you know, Metasploit, Nmap, all these other things. Kali everywhere. Look at this stuff. All right, choose your desktop. Here's the XFCE, a GNOME version, and the KDE versions. You check out the blog if you want to get some more information. But what I want to do is go ahead and look at these Kali tools. So I like the dark better personally. So you want a list of all the tools that are installed for this guy. Just take a look at the plethora of things that you have here. Now, chances are you're going to look at this and go, whoa, I have no idea what that is. And that's okay, because there is lots of tutorials out there to get you going, right? All right. So that's a lot of tools, and you can search one, this Metasploit. And look at this, a video. Pick something. You got a video right here. Shows you how to do some stuff. Oh, this is pretty awesome. Maybe you want to learn. Oh, and you got documentation, Kali Tools documentation, Kali Linux documentation. So installation, boom, here we go. Here's it installing Kali Linux. This is basically exactly what we just did, right? All the way up to this part and this part right here. Yeah, see? And then boom, right? We haven't quite got to that yet. Let's see. We're still working on it. It's getting there. Right. So go ahead and take a look at that if you're interested in doing some of these other installs. Like I said, documentation, community, courses. There you go. Courses. Let's check out that. Let's see what we have here. Let's here you go. Pen testing, distribution. It's some videos. Discover this. Pen testing 201. Oh, look at that. So if you want to get started in this is a great place to start. And your journey starts here. Yeah. Kali Linux Revealed. Okay, see what we, oops. All right. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. Developers about. Let's look at this here. Overview. Yes. Yep. Backtrack. It's now Kali Linux. The original distribution. Oh, look at this. So I guess it was about 2011 that they switched. So if you notice, like the actual distribution that they're based on changed over the years, which I think is kind of interesting. It's starting out with Knoppix or NoPix or however you want to pronounce it. I used to use that Linux distro for a lot of things back in the day when I was doing Myth TV. There was a Myth TV distro based off of that. I've also used to do Mythbuntu, Slacks. That I haven't heard that distro in a long time. Slackware, by the way, is like one of the first Linux distros that I used. Red Hat Linux and Slackware were the first two Linux distributions that I used way back in the day. And that was when it was a real big pain in the butt to get X server up and running, and that was fun stuff. Yeah, but those days are gone now, and things are a lot easier from a Linux standpoint than they used to be. And it looks like back, around 2010, they switched over to Ubuntu and stuck with Ubuntu until switching the distribution name from Backtrack to Kali Linux. And when they did that, they changed it over to Debian based. And so 7 and 8 and so on and so forth, right? Now, I will say that we are past this now. I'm not sure what the current version of Kali Linux is based on. I'm assuming the current version of Ubuntu. So, yeah. Ooh, look, here's the ARM history one. I like that too. Net installer history. This is really great stuff. Which image should I do? Yeah, all right. So, I might check out some of these courses though. You would go to the community support there, documentation. Let's go back to the tools documentation. And you look at all these things and like, I gotta be honest, this isn't stuff that I've messed with much. This area is new to me. QEMU, which is something I use for a lot for virtualization. So I'm fairly familiar with that tool in general, but not all these individual, nuances of it. Type VNC, I'm very familiar with that. VNC server and client, I assume. So VNC is a pretty common virtual, like a remote desktop type of thing, where you have a server and the client. If you use Proxmox and you want to view the console, the PCs there, that's using a VNC terminal into those machines. Let's go check on our machine. It's got to be, man, it's not quite there yet. So, if you got questions, just chat with me while we wait on that install. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Oh, free radius. Oh, man. There's lots of fun stuff in here. So, when you get into here, like, what do you do? So, let's take a look at the blog here. Ooh, look at the blog. 21.3. That's the one we're using here. Gives you a little information about that. Let's just do, here we go. Look at that. There's something. Beginner's Guide to Kali Linux. Somebody's article. Accept that stuff, What is Kali Linux? Hacking tool, gathering information, wireless attacks, blah, 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 all this good stuff. Why do hackers use Kali Linux? What is it used for? Is Kali Linux illegal? No, by the way, Windows compatibility. So on the note of the Windows compatibility, there's a Kali that you can install in WSL. So you go into the Windows. If you've got WSL already installed, you can go into the Windows store and get Kali Linux as one anything. I I don't recommend you do this right off the bat because first of all, there's no GUI stuff, and if you're learning this stuff, you may want the GUI yet. But the WSL with GUI is coming soon, so there's always that. Installing it, method one, method two, VirtualBox. See, we're kind of doing one of these guys. Advantage this, should you use it? So, my goodness, that's what you have. Now, this learning that tutorials, let's see, training, beginner's guide, CBT nuggets. Oh, yeah, these guys are all right. Usually, go in here, boot your machine. Oh yeah, so at least they're giving you some things you can do here. Still going. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Yeah, that works. That's interesting. So that might be a good one to take a look up. Here's one. Another one. See what this one has. I use it. Installation. Also, this one actually showing you the Microsoft Store install, VirtualBox install, stuff like that. Yeah, this is how you would do it in VirtualBox. Very similar to Hyper-V. Eventually, we'll get to this point, which, hey, and to this point, and then you can kind of look at these applications and stuff. Well, man, I'm telling you. Oh, yeah. Yep. In-map, Metasploit. So, yeah. So this kind of gives you like a little bit more of what you can do. And the thing is, like this, the thing about this software is that really what this is like getting a toolbox. And if you just get a toolbox handed to you full of tools, um, that doesn't mean that you can repair a car. You know what I'm saying? So you've got to actually learn how to use those tools and stuff like that. So, and that starts by just getting this, playing around with it, looking up some tutorials, looking up some articles, going in there and trying a couple things and just kind of getting your feet wet, dipping your toe in the water, if you will, and stuff like that. So that's what I recommend. That's what I'm going to do. And like I said, this isn't something that I've messed around with. I used to watch a show called HackFive. If you ever watched that show back in the day, that's a pretty cool show. Used to be on Revision 3 and stuff, and they did that. So you can go back and look at some of those old episodes that they had on that. And I know that they hop on there and like one of their side shows on the YouTube channel is like Metasploit minutes or moments or whatever, things like that. So that's a pretty cool source if you want to go back and look at some historical stuff from a few years back. I recommend that Darren Kitchen, HackFive, and all that good stuff. So, man, is this thing ever going to get there? The problem is I went ahead and I clicked that extra box and said, hey, install everything. So, man, will we get there? Okay, let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Here's the training thing. What does this show? They have some sort of certification, it looks like. Let's see what that actually is. Why? Oh, so this course is $250. So that might be a good option for you if you're interested. Some of these things here. Yeah. I'm not necessarily advocating this going here, but it comes straight off of the Kali website, so it's interesting. Um, I don't know if you're familiar with CBT Nuggets. That's another place that you can go and get learning inserts. So there's all that kind of stuff. Um, Let me just show you, as I was saying earlier. Let's see. Let's just type in. I just mentioned HackFive. HackFive. So check these people out. They have all kinds of tools, and they're pretty famous at this point in time. Back when I first started, they weren't near as famous, and they were started watching them weren't near as famous and everything. But it's pretty cool. Go away. So like, yeah, here's some HackFive episodes on the YouTube channel. Tons and tons of episodes about doing stuff in here. So infosec stuff. So if you're interested in getting in there, this is a good resource to just to go learn. So back in the podcast. So that's Darren Kitchen there. And Shannon Morris, she has a channel also on YouTube. So check her out. She does some pretty amazing stuff too. So she does. So HackFive is the main show. This is the practical exploits and so there's some pretty cool stuff there. Threatwire is the show done by Shannon, or what it was. Or Hacktip is definitely done by her. I think Threatwire is also done by her. So yeah. So if you're looking for some Linux tutorials, check out her hack tips. There's a whole bunch of stuff like not just advertising these, but like if you're looking for resources, these are pretty cool people. Lots of good information. Like I said, I used to watch this show religiously back in the day when they were producing a little bit more frequently. I think, I don't know. There used to be episodes out there quite often, but the HackFive itself, I think, kind of dwindled off. I think really, I'm guessing here, I'm just complete guessing, is that the other side of the business of the products that he was putting out has taken off and everything, and so like that's more of the consumption of what they do. Because you look at like this last episode was 2020, but like I said, I think Shannon does both of these shows. And here, let me just click on this one.
Fraudsters stole
yeah. So she does this show, and so she's still producing the content, everything. So just not that I know a whole lot, but history from them. I think they were podcasting on the East Coast for a while, and then they moved out to San Francisco and did their thing, and then I think and then Shannon moved out to Colorado, and that's what she's still doing things. So, and that's just we just follow them on the shows and everything. So that's what's going on with them. Hopefully, boy, let's see it. Oh, look, I think it's almost done. Oh, maybe it's man. Ah, yes, here we go. Continue. Okay, so we're getting there. We're getting there. All right. We'll give that just a couple more minutes. We'll flip back in again. So let's just talk about. So, by the way, it's like this USB Rubber Ducky thing that they have. Is kind of famous, also. Yeah. So, Mr. Robot famous, by the way. So, I don't know if like this being on Mr. Robot like really blew them up or not. I'm assuming it did. But yeah, that's if you're not familiar with the Mr. Robot show, go check that out. First, check out a few of the episodes if you like it. It's pretty cool. It's all about hacking and stuff like that. So pretty neat. Yep. So there's the humble beginnings, the original one. So the original, I think the original USB, the first one. Yep. USB Rubber Duck. Yep. So, and now it's a little bit different. So you might be saying, well, what is the USB Rubber Ducky? Well, check this out. It's a USB drive, plug in your computer, and install backdoors, exfiltrating documents, capturing credentials, so on and so forth. It's pretty interesting. So yeah, and like, just watch this video if you really want to know about it. I'm sure that's going to give you everything you need to know as far as like how it works and all this good stuff. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, here we go. Continue. All right, finally, this baby is rebooting, and now it's booting up into Kali Linux for the first time. So if you stuck with me all that time, and thank you. And now we're logging in for the first time, and here we are. You got this beautiful thing here. Let's click on this, and here is a bunch of tools. So yeah, so information gathering. Look at that. Boom, 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 boom. Do I know what all these are? No. Do I know what some are? Yes. Take a look at that. Take a look at that. Yeah. Database stuff, password hacking stuff, wireless hacking stuff, the old war driving type of thing. Look at that. Look at the exploit tools, sniffing, spoofing. Yeah. Forensic stuff, reporting tools, social media engineering tools, system tools. Oh, yeah. So there you go. Now you have installed Kali Linux in your VM. You are free to move about and do some learning and get things going. So, like, it's on the web. I mean, not that you just use Kali to surf the internet, but technically it is there, right? Boom, it's in Google. So there you have it. And let me do this. So thank you for joining me on this live install of Kali Linux. It took a little bit of time, but we did get to talk about some stuff. Some of the things that I used to watch, I still kind of watch. And if you're interested in it, like I said, go check out some of those things. Get this installed, start playing with it. The key to most of this stuff is just getting started. So I'm Kevin Stevenson with GetMeTheGeek.com, and thank you for joining me. We'll see you next time.